First contact. Ambassador Zyx'nara's tentacles quivered with anticipation as the sleek diplomatic vessel touched down on Earth's surface. After centuries of observation and debate, the Galactic Council had finally deemed humanity ready for first contact. As the lead xenodiplomat from Centauri Prime, Zyx'nara had spent years studying Earth's cultures, languages, and societal structures. Yet, nothing could have prepared them for what awaited beyond the ship's airlock. The landing site, a sprawling meadow on the outskirts of New York City, bustled with activity. A delegation of human officials stood at attention, their faces a mix of awe and apprehension. Zyx'nara's 3 hearts beat in rapid succession as the airlock hissed open, revealing Earth's atmosphere for the first time. "Greetings, people of Earth," Zyx'nara's universal translator intoned as they glided down the ramp. "I come in peace as a representative of the Galactic Council." The human delegation erupted in applause, and a tall woman in a crisp suit stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Zyx'nara. I'm Secretary General Maria Chen of the United Nations. On behalf of humanity, we're honored to receive you." As Zyx'nara approached the delegation, a commotion erupted from the crowd gathered behind the security barriers. A small, furry creature had somehow slipped past the guards and was bounding across the field toward the aliens. "Max, come back here," a voice called out, but the creature paid no heed. Zyx'nara's compound eyes widened in alarm as the furry missile launched itself directly at them. Instinctively, their tentacles raised in a defensive posture, ready to neutralize the potential threat. "Wait," Secretary General Chen called out, but it was too late. The creature collided with Zyx'nara, its wet nose pressing against their exoskeleton. To the ambassador's shock, a long pink appendage emerged from its mouth and began enthusiastically lapping at their face. Zyx'nara let out a high-pitched screech that caused the human delegation to cover their ears. The aliens' chromatophores flashed a brilliant array of warning colors as they stumbled backward, nearly toppling over in their haste to escape the strange attacker. "What manner of beast is this?" Zyx'nara demanded, their translator unable to fully convey the mix of terror and indignation in their voice. A young boy pushed through the crowd, his face flushed with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry. That's just my dog, Max. He's really friendly, I promise." Secretary General Chen's face had gone pale. "Ambassador Zyx'nara, please accept our deepest apologies. This is highly irregular and—" But Zyx'nara was no longer listening. Their attention was fixed on the dog, now sitting obediently at the boy's feet, its tail wagging furiously. "You keep such creatures as companions?" they asked, their voice a mix of disbelief and fascination. The boy nodded, still looking mortified. "Yeah, Max is my best friend. Don't you have pets where you come from?" Zyx'nara's tentacles writhed in confusion. "Pets? We have no such concept. On my world, other species are either prey or predators. The idea of cohabitating with a non-sentient species for companionship is entirely foreign to us." As if sensing the alien's distress, Max let out a soft whine and tilted his head, his ears perking up in a display of canine curiosity. Despite their initial shock, Zyx'nara found themselves oddly moved by the creature's expressive face. Secretary General Chen, seizing the opportunity to salvage the situation, stepped forward. "Perhaps, Ambassador, this unexpected encounter could serve as a unique learning opportunity. Humanity's relationship with domesticated animals is an integral part of our history and culture. It might provide valuable insights into our species." Zyx'nara's chromatophores slowly shifted from alarmed reds and oranges to more contemplative blues and greens. "Yes," they said slowly, "I believe you may be right. In all our studies of Earth, we never fully grasped the significance of these pets. It seems we have much to learn." As the tension began to dissipate, Zyx'nara noticed other members of the human delegation relaxing. Some even smiled, a few chuckling at the absurdity of first contact being disrupted by an overenthusiastic dog. "Tell me, young one," Zyx'nara addressed the boy, their voice gentler now. How did your species come to form such bonds with these creatures? The boy's face lit up, his embarrassment forgotten in his excitement to share. Oh, it's a really long story. Dogs have been with us for thousands of years. They started out as wolves, but over time they became our friends and helpers. Now they're part of our families. Zyx'nara's tentacles curled in thought. Fascinating. And there are other species you keep as pets. Oh yeah, the boy exclaimed. There's cats and birds and fish and hamsters. And perhaps, Secretary General Chen interjected gently, we could continue this discussion in a more formal setting. Ambassador Zyx'nara, we have prepared a welcoming ceremony and accommodations for you and your team. Zyx'nara nodded, their gaze still fixed on Max. Yes, of course, but I believe our mission parameters may need to be adjusted. This aspect of human culture clearly requires further study. As the delegation began to move towards the waiting vehicles, Zyx'nara found their thoughts racing. They had come to Earth expecting to discuss interstellar politics, trade agreements, and cultural exchange. Instead, they found themselves preoccupied with fur, wagging tails, and the curious concept of fetch. The implications were staggering. If humans had developed such complex relationships with non-sentient species, how might that influence their interactions with alien civilizations? Could this unique bond provide insights into humanity's capacity for empathy, nurturing, and interspecies cooperation? Zyx'nara's communication appendage tingled as they composed an urgent message to the Galactic Council. First contact successful, but with unexpected complications. Humans have developed symbiotic relationships with indigenous non-sentient species. Recommend immediate revision of diplomatic approach. Sending preliminary data on entity designated as dog. Exercise caution. These creatures possess disarming abilities that may overcome standard diplomatic defenses. As they settled into the transport vehicle, Zyx'nara caught sight of Max watching them leave, his tail still wagging. For the first time since landing on this strange planet, the alien ambassador felt a glimmer of something unexpected: kinship. The journey to understand humanity, it seemed, would be far more complex and far more interesting than anyone in the Galactic Council had anticipated, and it had all begun with the simple act of a dog greeting a stranger. Zyx'nara's tentacles curled with determination. They had a feeling that unraveling the mystery of humanity's bond with their pets might just be the key to successful interstellar relations. The Pawprint Protocol, as they decided to call it, was about to become the most important diplomatic mission in galactic history. As Earth's landscape scrolled by outside the vehicle's window, Zyx'nara allowed themselves a moment of reflection. They had come to this planet believing they understood its dominant species. Now, faced with the reality of dogs, cats, and who knew what other surprises, they realized that the true journey was only beginning. The fate of interstellar relations might very well rest on understanding the age-old question, who's a good boy? The feline enigma. Ambassador Zyx'nara's first week on Earth had been a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, cultural exchanges, and what humans called press conferences. Yet, despite the packed schedule, their thoughts kept returning to the encounter with Max the dog. The Galactic Council had responded to their initial report with a mixture of fascination and skepticism, demanding more concrete data on the human pet phenomenon. As they settled into their temporary quarters at the United Nations complex, Zyx'nara found themselves restless. The room, while spacious by human standards, felt confining to a being accustomed to the vast biodomes of Centauri Prime. A soft chime interrupted their musings. Someone was at the door. Enter, Zyx'nara called out, their translator conveying the message in crisp English. The door slid open to reveal Secretary General Chen, looking slightly apprehensive. Good evening, Ambassador. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Not at all, Zyx'nara replied, their chromatophores shifting to a welcoming blue. How may I assist you? Chen stepped into the room, and Zyx'nara noticed she was carrying a small portable containment unit. Ambassador, I've been giving some thought to your interest in our relationships with animals. I thought you might appreciate a more controlled introduction to another common Earth pet. With a gentle motion, Chen opened the container. A sleek, furry creature emerged, its movements fluid and graceful. Unlike the exuberant Max, this animal surveyed the room with an air of quiet dignity before fixing its gaze on Zyx'nara. "This is Whiskers," Chen explained. "She's a cat, another species that humans have domesticated over thousands of years." Zyx'nara's eye stalks extended in fascination. "Remarkable. The diversity of your companion species is truly astounding." They leaned in closer, studying the cat's features. "This one seems different from Max, less enthusiastic." Chen chuckled. "You're very perceptive, Ambassador. Cats and dogs have very different temperaments. While dogs are often eager to please, cats are more independent." As if to demonstrate this point, Whiskers chose that moment to turn her back on both human and alien, proceeding to groom herself with focused attention. "Fascinating," Zyx'nara murmured. "And humans find this behavior appealing." "Many do, yes," Chen replied. "Some people prefer the unwavering loyalty of dogs, while others appreciate the more nuanced affection of cats. It's a matter of personal preference." Zyx'nara's tentacles curled in thought. "So, within this pet category, there are further subdivisions based on behavioral traits and the emotional responses they evoke in humans." "Exactly." Chen beamed, clearly pleased by the ambassador's quick understanding. In fact, the cats versus dogs debate is something of a cultural touchstone in many human societies. As they conversed, Whiskers completed her grooming ritual and with regal poise approached Zyx'nara. The alien ambassador froze, remembering their startling encounter with Max. But instead of leaping or licking, Whiskers simply sat before them, her tail curled neatly around her paws, and emitted a soft, rumbling sound. "She's purring," Chen explained. "It's a sign of contentment in cats." Tentatively, Zyx'nara extended a tentacle towards Whiskers. The cat sniffed it curiously before pressing her head against it in a gentle headbutt. "Oh my," Zyx'nara breathed, their chromatophores flickering rapidly through a spectrum of surprised colors. "I believe I'm experiencing what humans call emotion." Chen nodded encouragingly. "That's often the effect our pets have on us. They have a way of bypassing our logical defenses and connecting with us on a deeper level." As Whiskers settled comfortably next to them, Zyx'nara found themselves grappling with unfamiliar sensations. There was something profoundly soothing about the cat's presence, a feeling that transcended rational thought. "Secretary General," Zyx'nara said slowly, "I believe I'm beginning to understand why your people place such importance on these relationships. But I'm curious, how do you reconcile the resources devoted to these non-sentient beings with the challenges facing your own species?" Chen's expression turned thoughtful. "That's a complex question, Ambassador. It's true that we face many global issues, from climate change to economic inequality. But our relationships with animals, particularly our pets, often inspire us to be better versions of ourselves. They teach us compassion, responsibility, and unconditional love. Many argue that these qualities make us better equipped to tackle larger, global challenges." Zyx'nara absorbed this information, their neural pathways buzzing with new connections. So these pets serve not just as companions, but as catalysts for personal and societal growth. "In many ways, yes," Chen agreed. "They've been shown to reduce stress, improve mental health, and even help in the treatment of various medical conditions. Some dogs are trained to detect diseases or assist people with disabilities. Cats have been known to provide comfort in nursing homes and hospitals." As if on cue, Whiskers stretched and climbed onto Zyx'nara's lap, curling up into a contented ball. The alien ambassador marveled at the warmth emanating from the small creature, a stark contrast to the cool efficiency of Centaurian technology. "I must admit," Zyx'nara said softly, "when I first encountered Max, I thought perhaps humanity had subjugated these species for their own amusement, but now I see the relationship is far more symbiotic." Chen nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. We provide food, shelter, and care, and in return, they offer companionship, emotional support, and often practical assistance. Zyx'nara's tentacles waved in a pattern that, on their homeworld, signified deep contemplation. Secretary General, I believe this pet phenomenon may be far more significant to interstellar relations than we initially realized. The capacity of your species to form such bonds with non-sentient creatures speaks volumes about your potential for empathy and cooperation on a galactic scale. Chen's eyes widened. I hadn't considered it from that perspective, but you're right. Our ability to connect with and care for other species could be seen as a microcosm of our potential for positive interstellar relationships. As the evening wore on, Zyx'nara and Chen continued their discussion, delving deeper into the cultural, historical, and psychological aspects of humanity's relationship with animals. Whiskers remained a constant, purring presence, occasionally demanding attention with a gentle paw or a melodious meow. By the time Chen prepared to leave, Zyx'nara had made a decision. Secretary General, I would like to formally request an expansion of our mission parameters. I believe a comprehensive study of human-animal relationships is crucial to fully understanding your species and its potential role in the galactic community. Chen smiled warmly. I think that's an excellent idea, Ambassador. I'll make the necessary arrangements. Perhaps we could organize visits to various animal shelters, veterinary clinics, and households with different types of pets. Zyx'nara's chromatophores pulsed with excitement. Yes, that would be most illuminating. And if it's not too presumptuous, might I request that Whiskers be allowed to stay here tonight? For observational purposes, of course. Chen's smile widened. Of course, Ambassador. I think Whiskers would like that very much. As the door closed behind Chen, Zyx'nara turned their attention back to the contented cat on their lap. They marveled at how quickly they had grown accustomed to, even fond of, the creature's presence. Well, Whiskers, Zyx'nara murmured, their tentacle gently stroking the cat's soft fur. It seems we have much to learn from each other. Your species and mine may be separated by light years of space and eons of evolution, but perhaps we're not so different after all. Whiskers responded with a sleepy purr, and Zyx'nara felt a surge of something they could only describe as affection. As they prepared to send their nightly report to the Galactic Council, they realized that their mission had fundamentally changed. They had come to Earth to assess humanity's readiness for galactic citizenship, but these humble Earth creatures, dogs, cats, and who knew what else, might hold the key to something far greater. A new understanding of connection, compassion, and coexistence that could reshape the very fabric of intergalactic society. The Pawprint protocol, it seemed, was only just beginning. The Menagerie Expedition. The next few weeks saw Ambassador Zyx'nara embarking on what the Earth media had dubbed the Menagerie Expedition. Accompanied by a small team of xenobiologists and cultural analysts from their home planet, Zyx'nara set out to explore the vast array of human-animal relationships across the globe. Their first stop was a sprawling animal sanctuary on the outskirts of Nairobi, Kenya. As their hover transport descended, Zyx'nara marveled at the expanse of savanna stretching out before them. Dr. Amina Osei, the sanctuary's lead veterinarian, greeted the alien delegation with a warm smile. "Welcome to Furaha Sanctuary," Dr. Osei said, extending a hand in greeting. Zyx'nara, having practiced this human custom, extended a tentacle in return. "We're honored to have you here." "The honor is ours," Zyx'nara replied, their chromatophores shimmering with excitement. "We're eager to learn about the diverse species under your care." As they toured the sanctuary, Zyx'nara and their team were introduced to a staggering variety of animals. They observed elephants using their trunks to paint abstract art, chimpanzees communicating through sign language, and even a group of rescued parrots that could mimic human speech. These birds, Zyx'nara mused, watching a scarlet macaw solve a complex puzzle for a treat, they possessed remarkable intelligence. Yet humans keep smaller versions as companions in their dwellings. Dr. O.C. nodded. Indeed, parrots, parakeets, and other avian species are popular pets. They form strong bonds with their human caretakers and can live for several decades. One of the Centaurian cynobiologists, Kelthor, chimed in. Fascinating. The long lifespan must create a unique dynamic in the human-pet relationship. Do humans typically outlive their avian companions? Not always, Dr. O.C. explained. Some species of parrots can live up to 50 years or more. There are cases where parrots have been passed down through generations of a family. Zyx'nara's tendrils curled in thought. So these relationships can span human lifetimes. The emotional investment must be considerable. As they continued their tour, they encountered a group of meerkats, their small, alert forms darting about a carefully constructed habitat. Zyx'nara watched, fascinated, as the creatures took turns standing guard while others foraged for food. These small mammals, Zyx'nara observed, they seem to have a complex social structure. Are they also kept as pets? Dr. Oze shook her head. Not typically. Meerkats are wild animals and are best left in their natural habitat. However, observing their behavior has taught us a lot about cooperation and social dynamics, which has applications in fields ranging from sociology to artificial intelligence. The alien delegation exchanged meaningful glances. The idea that humans drew inspiration from animal behavior to advance their own society and technology was a novel concept, one that would certainly intrigue the Galactic Council. As the day progressed, Zyx'nara found themselves particularly drawn to a section of the sanctuary dedicated to marine life. They stood transfixed before a large aquarium, watching a group of octopuses manipulate puzzles with their tentacles. These creatures, Zyx'nara whispered, her voice filled with awe, they remind me of the Vorlex species from the Andromeda galaxy. Such intelligence in a non-humanoid form. Dr. Osei smiled. Octopuses are indeed remarkably intelligent. They can solve problems, use tools, and even exhibit play behavior. Some humans do keep smaller cephalopods as pets, but it requires a great deal of specialized knowledge and care. As they observed the octopuses, one of them approached the glass, its eyes fixed on Zyx'nara. For a moment, alien and cephalopod regarded each other with mutual curiosity. Zyx'nara felt an unexpected kinship with the creature, so different from humans, yet possessing an undeniable intelligence. The moment was interrupted by an urgent call from the sanctuary's medical center. Dr. Osi excused herself, and after a brief conversation, turned to the alien delegation with an apologetic expression. "I'm sorry to cut our tour short, but we have an emergency. A pregnant rhinoceros is going into labor, and there are complications." Zyx'nara's tendrils writhed with concern. "Is there anything we can do to assist?" Dr. Osai hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Actually, yes. Your species' tentacles might be useful in this situation. Would you be willing to help?" Without hesitation, Zyx'nara agreed. What followed was a tense 2 hours in the medical center, with Zyx'nara using their dexterous tentacles to assist the veterinary team in safely delivering the baby rhino. The experience was intense, messy, and utterly unlike anything in their diplomatic training. As the newborn rhino took its first breath, a cheer went up from the assembled humans. Zyx'nara felt a surge of emotion that defied categorization. They had participated in creating new life, in preserving a species that humans had driven to the brink of extinction and were now fighting to protect. Later, as they watched the mother rhino tenderly nuzzling her calf, Dr. Osei turned to Zyx'nara with tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Ambassador. Your help was invaluable." Zyx'nara's chromatophores pulsed with a deep, rich purple, a color associated with profound realization in their culture. I believe I understand now," they said softly. "Understand what?" Dr. Osi asked. "Why humans dedicate so much time and resources to these creatures," Zyx'nara explained. "It's not just about companionship or utility, it's about connection, about recognizing the value of life in all its forms. About taking responsibility for the world you inhabit. Dr. O.C. nodded, a warm smile spreading across her face. That's exactly it, Ambassador. Our relationships with animals, whether as pets or in conservation efforts, remind us of our place in the larger web of life. They teach us empathy, respect for nature, and the importance of protecting those who cannot protect themselves. As the day drew to a close and the alien delegation prepared to depart, Zyx'nara found themselves reluctant to leave. They had come to Earth expecting to study a curious cultural phenomenon, but they were leaving with something far more profound, a new perspective on life, intelligence, and the interconnectedness of all things. On the flight back to their temporary Earth headquarters, Zyx'nara composed a message to the Galactic Council. Esteemed Council members, our investigation into human-animal relationships has yielded unexpected insights. These interactions are not mere curiosities, but fundamental aspects of human culture that shape their worldview and potential for interstellar cooperation. The human capacity to form bonds with, learn from, and protect species vastly different from themselves suggests a remarkable adaptability and empathy. These traits could prove invaluable in future interactions with diverse galactic species. Furthermore, human efforts in animal conservation demonstrate a growing awareness of their impact on their planet's ecosystem and a willingness to take responsibility for it. This ethos aligns closely with the Galactic Council's principles of planetary stewardship. I recommend not only continuing our study, but also considering the introduction of some Earth species to our own worlds under carefully controlled conditions. The potential for mutual learning and growth is enormous. In light of these findings, I believe we must reevaluate our approach to humanity's potential membership in the galactic community. Their relationship with Earth's animals may well be the key to understanding their true potential as a species. Respectfully, Ambassador Zyx'nara. As they sent the message, Zyx'nara gazed out at the Earth below, its continents and oceans coming into view as they gained altitude. They marveled at the invisible web of relationships between humans and animals that spanned the globe, a testament to the complexity and beauty of life in the universe. The Pawprint protocol, Zyx'nara realized, was more than just a diplomatic mission. It was a journey of discovery that had the potential to reshape galactic society's understanding of intelligence, empathy, and the very nature of civilization itself. As Earth receded from view, Zyx'nara felt a newfound sense of purpose. The next phase of their mission was clear: to bridge the gap between humanity and the wider galactic community, using the lessons learned from humanity's most loyal companions as a guide. The universe, it seemed, had much to learn from the unlikely alliance between humans and their. 6 months into the Pawprint protocol, Earth was abuzz with excitement. The presence of alien diplomats had already been revolutionary, but their intense interest in humanity's relationships with animals had sparked a global phenomenon. Pet adoption rates soared, conservation efforts received unprecedented funding, and a new academic field, xenozoology, was born, dedicated to studying animal behavior from an interstellar perspective. Ambassador Zyx'nara stood before the United Nations General Assembly, their chromatophores a swirl of confident blues and greens. The chamber was packed, with delegates from every nation and billions more watching the live stream across the planet. Distinguished representatives of Earth, Zyx'nara began, their translator conveying the gravity in their voice. Today, I stand before you not just as an ambassador from a distant world, but as a student of your remarkable planet and its myriad forms of life. The chamber fell silent, hanging on every word. When we first arrived, we believed we were here to assess humanity's readiness for galactic citizenship. Instead, we found ourselves on an unexpected journey of discovery, one that has profoundly altered our understanding of intelligence, empathy, and the very nature of civilization. Murmurs rippled through the audience as holographic displays flickered to life, showing images from Zyx'nara's expeditions, the elephant artists in Kenya, service dogs assisting humans with disabilities, cats providing comfort in hospitals, and countless other examples of human-animal bonds. Your relationships with your fellow Earth creatures have revealed a capacity for interspecies cooperation that is unparalleled in our galactic experience. This unique perspective may well be humanity's greatest contribution to the cosmic community. As Zyx'nara continued their speech, detailing the potential for Earth to become a center for galactic zoological studies and conservation efforts, the atmosphere in the chamber shifted from curiosity to excitement. Meanwhile, light years away, the Galactic Council was in an uproar. Zyx'nara's reports had sparked intense debate about the nature of sentience, the rights of non-sapient species, and the potential for Earth's conservation models to be applied to endangered species across the galaxy. Councillor Vexalia, a wispy, ethereal being from the gas giants of the Horsehead Nebula, addressed her peers. Colleagues, the implications of the Pawprint Protocol are staggering. If humans can form such profound bonds with creatures so different from themselves, imagine the potential for connection between our vastly diverse galactic species. Another councillor, the silicon-based Petrox, rumbled in disagreement. But where do we draw the line? If we extend rights and consideration to every creature capable of forming emotional bonds, we risk paralysis in our expansion and resource utilization. The debate raged on, with factions forming around various interpretations of the protocol's findings. Some saw it as a roadmap to a more empathetic and interconnected galactic society, while others feared it could undermine established hierarchies and economic systems. Back on Earth, Zyx'nara was unaware of the cosmic controversy they had ignited. As they concluded their UN address, they made an unprecedented announcement. In light of our findings, and with the approval of both Earth's governments and the Galactic Council, we are establishing the first ever interstellar wildlife sanctuary right here on your planet. This facility will serve as a refuge for endangered species from across the galaxy, allowing for the study and preservation of diverse life forms in Earth's uniquely varied biosphere. The assembly erupted in applause and cheers. Secretary General Chen stepped forward, beaming. Ambassador, on behalf of humanity, we are honored to accept this incredible responsibility. Where will this sanctuary be located? Zyx'nara's tendrils waved excitedly. We've selected a large, ecologically diverse area in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. With your permission, we'll use our advanced terraforming technology to create contained habitats suitable for a wide range of alien species, while also working to restore and protect Earth's native flora and fauna. As the details of the sanctuary project were discussed, Dr. Amina Osei, who had been invited to attend as a special consultant, raised her hand. Ambassador Zyx'nara, this is an incredible opportunity, but I have concerns. How can we ensure that introducing alien species won't negatively impact Earth's already fragile ecosystems? Zyx'nara nodded gravely. An excellent question, Dr. Osei. We've developed advanced containment systems that will prevent any cross-contamination. Moreover, we believe that the techniques used to create and maintain these diverse habitats will provide invaluable insights for Earth's own conservation efforts. As the session concluded, Zyx'nara found themselves surrounded by eager scientists, policymakers, and conservationists, all bursting with questions and ideas. The excitement was palpable, but beneath it, they sensed an undercurrent of anxiety. Humanity was about to take a giant leap into a much larger, more complex universe, and not everyone was sure they were ready. Later that evening, as Zyx'nara prepared for a series of media interviews, they received an urgent communication from the Galactic Council. The message was brief but ominous. Protocol findings causing significant unrest. Multiple species reconsidering membership. Immediate return requested for emergency session. Zyx'nara's chromatophores paled. They had been so focused on the positive aspects of their discoveries that they had failed to consider the wider galactic implications. Could the Pawprint Protocol, meant to bridge worlds, instead be driving them apart? As if sensing their distress, Whiskers, who had become a permanent companion, leaped onto their lap, purring soothingly. Zyx'nara stroked the cat absently, their mind racing. They couldn't abandon the progress made on Earth. but they also couldn't ignore the council's summons. A knock at the door interrupted their thoughts. It was Secretary General Chen, looking uncharacteristically nervous. "Ambassador, we've just received some concerning intelligence. It seems that certain factions, both human and alien, are not happy with the changes brought about by the Pawprint protocol. There are rumors of a plot to sabotage the Sanctuary project." Zyx'nara's tendrils coiled tightly. What kind of sabotage? Chen's expression was grim. "We're not sure, but it could range from diplomatic maneuvering to more direct action. We need to be prepared for anything." As the weight of the situation settled over them, Zyx'nara realized that the true challenge of the Pawprint protocol was only just beginning. They had unlocked a new understanding of interspecies relationships, but with it came a host of new conflicts and dangers. Looking down at Whiskers, then back at Chen, Zyx'nara made a decision. "Secretary General, please convene an emergency meeting with your top advisors and security experts. And, if you could, please invite Dr. Osei as well. I have a feeling we're going to need her expertise." Chen nodded, relief evident in her eyes. "Of course, Ambassador. And what will you do?" Zyx'nara's chromatophores shifted to a determined purple. "I'm going to compose a message to the Galactic Council. It's time they understood that the Pawprint protocol isn't just about humanity's relationship with animals. It's about reshaping our understanding of cooperation, empathy, and our place in the cosmic ecosystem. The future of galactic society may well depend on what we do next." As Chen left to make the arrangements, Zyx'nara turned to gaze out at the Earth's nighttime sky. Somewhere out there, forces were aligning against the vision of unity and understanding they had worked so hard to foster. But as Whiskers purred contentedly in their lap, Zyx'nara felt a surge of determination. The road ahead would be challenging, but they had learned something profound from humanity and their animal companions: the power of loyalty, adaptability, and unconditional love. With these lessons as their guide, Zyx'nara believed they could face whatever the universe had in store. The Pawprint protocol had evolved far beyond a simple diplomatic mission. It had become a movement, a philosophy, a potential revolution in galactic thought. And Zyx'nara was ready to fight for it, no matter the cost. As they began composing their message to the Council, Zyx'nara realized that the next phase of their mission would require all the courage, compassion, and cleverness they had observed in Earth's diverse species. The fate of 2 worlds, and countless others across the galaxy, now hung in the balance. The true test of the Pawprint protocol was about to begin. Cosmic convergence. The Amazon rainforest hummed with an energy that was both familiar and alien. Zyx'nara stood at the edge of a clearing, their chromatophores a kaleidoscope of emotions as they surveyed the Interstellar wildlife sanctuary. Domes of shimmering energy housed habitats ranging from methane swamps to silicon deserts, each a carefully crafted home for species from across the galaxy. In the months since the UN announcement, progress had been swift, but not without challenges. Protests, political maneuvering, and even a few thwarted sabotage attempts had kept Zyx'nara and their human allies on constant alert. But now, on the eve of the sanctuary's official opening, a tense calm had settled over the project. Dr. Amina Osei approached, a tablet in hand and a concerned expression on her face. "Ambassador, we've detected some unusual energy readings from Habitat 17. It could be nothing, but after everything that's happened." Zyx'nara nodded gravely. "We can't take any chances. Let's investigate personally." As they made their way through the sanctuary, Zyx'nara marveled at the sight of Earth animals and plants coexisting with their alien counterparts. A group of parrots chattered excitedly with crystalline beings that communicated through light pulses. In a nearby pool, Earth dolphins swam alongside tentacled creatures that defied easy description. "It's remarkable," Dr. Osei murmured. Despite their differences, they're finding ways to interact, to coexist. It's like a microcosm of what we hope to achieve on a galactic scale. Zyx'nara felt a surge of pride and hope. This was what the Pawprint Protocol was all about, fostering understanding and cooperation across the boundaries of species and worlds. As they approached Habitat 17, home to a group of empathic, shape-shifting beings known as the Morphi, the air seemed to thicken with tension. Zyx'nara's tendrils twitched, sensing something amiss. Suddenly, a piercing alarm shattered the tranquility of the sanctuary. Red warning lights flashed across every habitat dome. "It's a security breach," Dr. Osei exclaimed, her fingers flying across her tablet. "Multiple points of intrusion. They're trying to disable the containment fields." Zyx'nara's mind raced. This was the moment they had feared, a coordinated attack on the sanctuary. But who was behind it? The anti-alien human factions, or something more sinister from the stars? Before they could react, a shimmer in the air coalesced into a familiar form. Councillor Petrox of the Galactic Council, his silicon-based body gleaming in the emergency lights. "This ends now, Zyx'nara," Petrox rumbled. "Your Pawprint Protocol is destabilizing millennia of galactic order. We cannot allow it to continue." Zyx'nara's chromatophores flashed warning colors. "Counselor, please, you don't understand the full implications of what we're doing here. This isn't just about Earth or its animals. It's about a new way of existence, a more empathetic and interconnected galaxy." Petrox's crystalline form shuddered with what might have been laughter. Empathy. Interconnection. Those are luxuries we cannot afford in the harsh reality of cosmic survival. Your protocol would have us treating every semi-sentient species as equals, paralyzing our progress. As Petrox monologued, Dr. Osei caught Zyx'nara's eye, subtly gesturing towards the Morphi habitat. The shapeshifters within were pressed against the energy barrier, their forms rippling with agitation. Zyx'nara understood immediately. The Morphi were empaths, capable of sensing and influencing emotions. If they could connect with them, perhaps they could turn the tide. Zyx'nara needed to buy time. And what of the knowledge we've gained? The potential for cross-species cooperation? Petrox, the universe is vast and full of wonders we can scarcely imagine. Why limit ourselves to one way of thinking? As they spoke, Zyx'nara inched closer to the habitat's control panel. Dr. Osei, catching on, engaged Petrox in a heated debate about the ethics of interspecies relations, keeping his attention divided. With a swift movement, Zyx'nara's tendrils danced across the panel, lowering the empathic barriers around the Morphi habitat. Immediately, a wave of emotion flooded the clearing, fear, confusion, but also a deep, abiding sense of connection to all living things. Petrox staggered, his crystalline form vibrating with the onslaught of unfamiliar sensations. What is this? Make it stop." But Zyx'nara stood firm, allowing the empathic wave to wash over them. In that moment, they felt everything: the joy of a dolphin's swim, the contentment of a cat's purr, the fierce protectiveness of a mother bear, the loyalty of a dog, the ancient wisdom of an elephant. And beyond that, the alien emotions, the song-like thoughts of crystalline beings, the tidal rhythms of methane-breathing creatures, the silicon dreams of beings like Petrox himself. Tears formed in Dr. Osei's eyes as she too was caught in the empathic storm. It's beautiful," she whispered. Across the sanctuary, alarms fell silent. The would-be saboteurs, human and alien alike, found themselves overwhelmed by the shared emotional experience. Weapons clattered to the ground as attackers sank to their knees, overcome by a sudden understanding of the interconnectedness of all life. Petrox's form had stilled, a new pattern of fractal beauty emerging on his crystalline surface. When he spoke, his voice was hushed with awe. I had no idea. All this time, we thought we were so different, so separate. But we're all part of the same cosmic tapestry, aren't we? Zyx'nara approached the counselor, their tendrils gently brushing his silicon surface in a gesture of reconciliation. That's what we've been trying to show you, Petrox. The Pawprint Protocol isn't about elevating one species over another. It's about recognizing the value in our differences and the strength in our connections. As the empathic waves subsided, leaving behind a profound sense of unity, Zyx'nara turned to address the assembled humans and aliens. Their chromatophores glowed with a color that had no name in any Earth language, a hue that spoke of hope, determination, and the limitless potential of cooperation. Today, we stand at a crossroads, Zyx'nara proclaimed. We can cling to our old ways, our fears and divisions, or we can embrace this new understanding, this cosmic empathy that transcends the boundaries of worlds and species. The choice is ours. In the days that followed, news of the event at the Interstellar Wildlife Sanctuary spread across Earth and the galaxy. The Galactic Council, shaken by Petrox's transformation and the undeniable power of the empathic experience, called for a fundamental reassessment of interstellar relations. The Pawprint Protocol, once a simple study of human-animal bonds, had evolved into a galactic philosophy of cooperation and mutual understanding. Earth, with its dizzying array of life forms and its humans' capacity for forming connections with other species, was hailed as a model for this new approach to cosmic coexistence. Zyx'nara, standing once again before the UN General Assembly, felt the weight of history on their tentacles. Distinguished representatives of Earth, honored members of the galactic community, we have been given a rare gift, the opportunity to redefine our place in the universe. The road ahead will not be easy. There will be challenges, misunderstandings, and conflicts to overcome. But if we hold true to the lessons we've learned, the loyalty of a dog, the resilience of a cat, the wisdom of an elephant, the playfulness of a dolphin, I believe we can create a future beyond our wildest dreams. As applause filled the chamber, Zyx'nara felt a familiar warmth against their side. Whiskers, who had become something of a galactic celebrity, purred contentedly. Dr. Osei, now Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, smiled warmly from her seat. In that moment, Zyx'nara realized that their journey had come full circle. They had come to Earth to assess humanity's readiness for the cosmos, only to discover that humanity and their animal companions had a profound lesson to teach the stars. The Pawprint Protocol had started with a curious alien's encounter with a friendly dog. It had grown into a movement that spanned worlds and species, challenging long-held beliefs and opening hearts and minds across the galaxy. As Zyx'nara gazed out at the assembled representatives of Earth and the cosmos, they knew that this was not an end, but a beginning. The true adventure, the forging of a more empathetic, interconnected, and vibrant galactic community, was just getting started. And it had all begun with a wagging tail and a wet nose on a warm Earth day, proving once again that sometimes the greatest wisdom can come from the most unexpected sources. The universe, it seemed, had much to learn from the pawprints that had guided humanity's journey through the stars.